Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final round of Night Owl Season 2 right here on RCI TV. I'm Jesse Lee, Nick Setnick behind the cameras, and Josh Leishan here in the booth for the finale at Imola, of all places. You know what, Josh? It's been a great season, and this track wasn't even released when this season started. It's going to be a crazy final race, I think.
Yep, should be good. Hello, everybody. It's great to have Imola in ACC. It's probably one of my favourite tracks. Has been for quite some time. But yeah, it's going to be the perfect scene for a championship deciding race. And you know, one of the contenders on the screen at the moment, Johan Veen. I believe he will be starting from the back of the grid today. He's our current championship leader, so he's got it all to do today if he wants to bring back the trophy for the team. Because obviously this is a team effort as well. But yeah, it's going to be good. It's my first race commentary on Imola as well. So I know you guys you did the 3 hours just last week. So Jesse, I hope you've brushed up on some Italian corner names for Night Owl.
Yeah, I actually know a lot of the corner names around this track, but the problem is that my pronunciation is absolutely abhorrent. But we will make do one way or another. But this is, like you said, it's the second race RCI's done here at Imola since the release, and it's actually kind of nice to be here in Night Owl for the first actual championship. And well, it's pretty fitting that it is the finale, folks. The way that it's all going to play out here today, incredibly simple. If Johan Veen finishes in front of Mikael Sundstrom and is in front of Harry Conway, well, it doesn't matter. Johan Veen will win this championship. But if Mikael Sundstrom finishes 2 points, or two places, I should say, in front of Johan Veen, Sundstrom wins the championship. And if Conway can beat them both by 5 positions, well, Conway wins it. You're gonna have to keep up here today.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Conway's got he's got an outside chance. He's going to need a few things to fall his way, but you know, Sundstrom obviously will be starting in front of Veen only by 1 position, but you know, it's always good if they can make their way through the pack together. Sundstrom just needs to get 1 position extra, or 2 positions obviously, and he takes it home. But Imola, I haven't actually seen a great deal of racing here on ACC, but you know, it's not easy to overtake here. But you know, we do have the long straight from the pits. You know, the start-finish straights. Obviously, we don't have the chicane in this layout, which is good for GTs because obviously, you know, you need to get as much of a run as you can. But yeah, I love the whole reverse grid thing. It gets me excited every time. But obviously, a little bit of a smaller field today. But still, the guys starting right at the back, P17, have still got it all to do, haven't they? So let's wait and see. And there's lots of Ferraris here as well. Lots of Ferraris at Imola. I believe the actual official track name has Ferrari in it, I think. Enzo Ferrari. Or something along those lines anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of Ferraris here today, and some of you may be wondering, hey, why is there a smaller grid for the race? Well, just sort of 'tis the season. This is sort of the ebb and the flow of sim racing, and a lot of people out there doing things other than sim racing around this time of year, wherever you are and whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays to you guys as well, as we are nearing in on the season. And, well, there's no Christmas or holiday lights here at Imola, but there likely will be some fireworks. And I'm just going to go ahead and disagree with something you said, Josh. I think you can pass almost anywhere around this track, and we certainly saw that in the 3 hour, that people were lunging into corners, making it work, and getting passes done. I don't know what it is about this place, but I guess because a lot of these turns you have to slow way down for. Well, it's sort of like Monza. You can stick your nose in there and get a pass done. And of course, some of these guys definitely going to be looking out today, trying to get a lot of passes done. Johan Veen being chief among those. He's going to have to pass the most if he wants to win today. And something else interesting too, I I don't think we've had a back to front winner all season, as far as I'm aware.
I don't
With
think
the
so.
with the smaller grid, it might be possible today. You only have to pass 16 other cars if you're in the back.
Yeah, only 16. Yeah, no, it's a big ask, but like you say, it's not as much of a big of an ask as it has been sometimes. But like you say, obviously some drivers, you know, not being able to race tonight, or some people, not everybody might have the DLC for all I know. I don't, obviously we don't really know that, but I hope what you're saying is right, Jesse, and we do get some overtaking everywhere. Like you say, I've not really seen a great deal of it. I wanted to keep it a bit of a surprise for the for the night owl in a way. Obviously, we got the event on the next weekend coming up as well, so I'm sure we'll see plenty of action at Imola for the next week or two. But yeah, so it's going to be Vane right at the back, and then Sundstrom. So they're literally going to be lining up right next to each other, and it's going to be a bit of a boxing match, I think, and trying to make their way through the pack as quickly as they can. And there's Ishmael Lebrec now, just rounding out the final couple of seconds of free practice before we move on to the race session. It's been a bit of a season of it could have been for Lebrec, in my opinion. He's been caught up in some incidents and not had the best luck, but he's made of it what he has. But judging by the practice times, not that it's anything really to go by in the race, but Vane is a lot faster than most of the other cars there today. So if that's anything to go by, we may see a P17 to P1. Who knows? It would be pretty epic to see as well in the finale. New track, and that would be awesome to close out his championship. Because if he wins the race, he's definitely the champion of Night Owl Season 2. So let's wait and see. Free practice is over. Well, once the last car crosses the line, there it goes. And we will just move on to the race session shortly.
Yeah, we will. And just to touch up on Ishmael Lebrec, he's had 2 podiums and a win in 5 races, but even still, not very Lebrec of him. But of course, the difficulty is he's been starting from the back of the grid a lot of the time, or in the middle of the grid, I should say. And like you said, he's had some unfortunate incidents that have accrued to him. But regardless of what happens today, he still gets to say that he won a race in season 2, and that is something to be proud of. As the wait timer continues to tick down, final cars going around the track here. Might as well update you on a few things. First of all, the race today a little different than it has been in the previous 4 rounds. Of course, this race, a 90-minute race instead of the traditional 60. Well, that's because the way that we always end Night Owl season is with a little bit longer race. It's going to be interesting to see how much further some of these guys in the back can get. And here is your starting grid as you see them gridding up, getting ready to go for the final race of the season.
Yep. So that's the grid we're going to be running with. Like you say, the 90 minutes could be quite helpful for the guys further at the back. But I believe we're going to throw to the championship standings now, which will kind of mirror what the grid is, but obviously there might be some drivers missing. But here we go. So starting with the top 10, we have Johan Vane on 166 points and Mikael Sundstrom with 158. So they're the two we're going to be watching. Only 8 points separating those. And Harry Conway, 149, and Tahir Mallet as well. Probably the only other two that could potentially bring the title home if unfortunate events happen. Hamza Bel Hassan, Fabian Schmidberger, Alistair Gillies, Atabak Ertan, Matteo Catozzi, and Billy Octane rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, and further back, these are the group that maybe their season hasn't quite gone their way. Jose Jorge leads that group in 11th place, but take note here of how close a lot of these drivers are in points. A lot of these drivers still here today, and they will be fighting it out to the bitter end for points. We mentioned Ishmael Lebrec in there as well. Of course, Jose Jorge's 11th, Rogers, Mathis, Lebrecq, Brunier, Combs, Kumpo, Narajak, Cole, and Urquizy, the top 20. And of course, these are all pro drivers. There's no pro am here in Night Owl. This is all pro, and these are the drivers where it's went terribly wrong. And I'm not even sure these gentlemen are here. Yilmaz, Nafker, Aravina, Tunser, Silva, Robles, and Bugden. I'm not sure any of those are actually here in this race, but that is their points totals. And that gives you a more clear perspective of what we're looking at and what we're expecting to see today out of some of these guys who are trying to make up points. But there's also a team championship going on here, and pretty sure it's done and dusted. K-Tech Horseflow have a 32-point lead over Rhythm Racing.
Yep, that looks like that one's done and dusted, I think, isn't it? 32-point difference. Who are the Rhythm Racing drivers anyway? They are, if I can find them,
Yeah,
Carl
it's
Mathis,
and Gillies, Alistair Gillies.
it's the Gillies who aren't here, are they? Oh, Mathis is. So
yeah, so
yeah,
so
it's gonna
basically
be
we are
quite done.
we are yeah, we're going to go ahead and give the championship, the team championship to Horseflow there, I think, because both of them are here as far as I know. Yeah, I see Conway and yeah, so that will likely be the end of that. But we are still racing for a championship. 8 points between the top two and 22 back to third. And that's only 5 positions. It's 5 points per position here this season. Anything is possible as we get ready for an hour and a half racing. It's 8 a.m. here at Imola. 11C is the track and ambient temperature. Track is not optimum, Josh. That's something that's very interesting. Track is only fast right now.
Yeah, so obviously with the game, obviously setting it off at 8 a.m., it's obviously decided that it's had no running on it, which is probably very true. Not much racing gets done before 8 a.m. unless it's obviously gone through the night. So only a fast track to start, which means low grip, lots of sliding. Cold tyres into turn 1 is going to be quite interesting, but it won't take very long for the rubber to go down, and this will be an optimum track. But it is cold as well, isn't it? Only 11 degrees, both ambient and track temp. So yeah, it's going to be tough to get some temperature in those tyres to start off with. But like I say, I don't think it'll take long for the track to sort of rubber in and become a fast track, an optimum track. But yeah, I'm sure these guys would have practiced. I don't know. I'm guessing the practice server was probably set to similar conditions. They usually are. So we will wait and see. But here we go for the formation lap, the final formation lap. Hopefully, as long as there's no doom into turn 1 of the Night Owl Season 2. And they're all going to make their way around the track, try and get as much heat into those tyres as they can. Obviously, we want to focus on the front of the grid for the race. But obviously, the championship is all going to be dealt with at the back to start with, isn't it? So we're going to try and bring all the action to you, both front, middle, and rear of the grid. Nick always seems to do a fantastic job of that, so I'm pretty confident that will happen again. But Jesse, we've got to ask the question because we always do. First of all, who do you think is going to win this race? Looking at that grid, who do you fancy to take the race win?
That's a good question. I think Harry Conway wins this race and makes this whole championship very interesting. I don't know if he wins the whole thing, but I think Conway might have a chance in an hour and a half to lead this race and give himself at least a shot to win it.
Yeah, that would be pretty impressive. Obviously, he needs maximum assault from his point of view. He just needs to get obviously as many points as he can. Whereas Sundstrom and Vane maybe have a little bit more to worry about. They don't want to get involved in too much contact. Whereas Conway's kind of gone, I've got an outside chance anyway. I've kind of got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So you might be right with that call. But yeah, looking at the grid, I think Lebrecq is he's definitely gonna get a podium in my opinion. Looking at the grid and where he's starting, I think he's gonna have a strong race. But in terms of the championship, I don't actually know. I wouldn't want to call who picked it up. Obviously, Sundstrom and Vane starting on starting in the back of the grid together. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen between those two? But Mikael Sundstrom's been just that consistent, always been up there. Driver, isn't he? He's always just been pushing it, pumping in the results consistently. So, consistency does pay off, whereas Vane has just shown great pace, and then some races he's been really unlucky, but he's managed to claw his way back to the top of the drivers' stand-ins. Will he finish there? We will find out in around 90 minutes, but the car should be going into double file very soon, and we will see where this race takes us for the final round of the Night Owl Season 2.
Yeah, and here is your grid. 17 cars here for the finale. Robles leads Tuncer on the front row, then behind them Yilmaz Kumpo, and then further back Combs and Lebrec. Brunier, Mathis, Rogers, and Jose Jorge round out the top 10, and behind them is Octane, Katosi, Ertan, Mallet, Conway, Sundstrom, and Vane. Reverse grid of the championship order. Round 5 of Night Owl Season 2 here on RCI. We're glad that you're with us. Happy holidays. And here we go. One last time this year in this championship. It has been an absolute pleasure to share the box with Josh and have Nick on the cameras. Hope that you've enjoyed as well, but still business to do. 90 minutes of racing here at Imola in the season as they wait patiently 2 by 2 by 2 for the lights to go out. The lights do go out. The racing goes green, and they run down into turn 1, which is actually technically turn 2 here. Does anybody go out to get a run? Yes, they do. It looks like Robles is going to be squeezed. Robles is going to get shoved all the way off the track. It looks like Tuncer's going to take the lead. Yilmaz up into second. Tuncer back out. And I don't think that he appreciated that very much. But it is now Ferrari leading Ferrari leading Ferrari.
Yep, it sure is, and he definitely got a little bit squeezed off the road, and Lebrec's pretty much done the same there to Burak Yilmaz. He's just sort of sideswiped him off the track a little bit there, and it looks like we got a McLaren going to spin round. Have we just about yet, and has managed to avoid contact there on the hairpin. So all sort of kicking off at the moment, but Sundstrom is... Where is that now? It's P10 already, and Vane not too far behind him, but he has got the 2 positions that he needed so far, Jesse. Obviously very, very early in the race, but, so far so good for those guys. They've managed to clear some of the pack, and Vane now in the background plowing through as well. He's gained another position, so... Oh, and there we go. There is the championship leader. The championship leader is facing the wrong way. Thankfully, nothing too major. He didn't hit any walls or anything, but here we go. We're going to go into the helicam. I'm guessing he either did or he caught a bit too much curb. We'll find out now. If that tree doesn't... does he get touched? Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. Oh, my goodness. The absolute dump job by the Lamborghini. And your championship leader in early trouble, Johan Vane, second to last. And I think, yeah, the Lambo stopped for him there, realized that was a mistake, and has fallen back in line with him. So, yeah, Robles not meaning to do that, goes all the way to the back of the grid now. Johan Vane in pit road immediately. Now, that's not good because you will need fuel in an hour-and-a-half race around here, I'm pretty sure. So he'll have to make another pit stop as more contact here between... Who was that? Oh, more contact! Is that Mikael Sundstrom? Mikael Sundstrom has been moved out of the way by Mallet at the moment. I don't know exactly what happened there. Why would he move him out of the way quite like that? Let's see the replay, Josh.
Yeah, it looks like there's just not enough room, and the guy's in front, he rejoins, and there's just not enough room there for the 2 of them, and he's just sort of spun him around. There's just not enough room for the 2 of them. So,
yeah,
but
you're right.
I'd say Sundstrom's accident there is a lot worse than Vane's. So all of a sudden, the 2 championship leaders are right at the back, and we said this before the stream. He's gonna need a lot of things to go wrong, and Harry Conway is P11 at the moment with his 2 closest rivals pretty much running at the back, and Sundstrom's got damage.
So as they run right now, Mikael Sundstrom would win this championship over Johan Vane, and Harry Conway... Oh, no, excuse me. Sundstrom would win this championship over Harry Conway right now, Johan Vane would finish third.
Yeah, which is just crazy, and that's only 3.5 minutes in. So bring on the rest of this race. But pretty much the midfield is just full of Ferraris, which is great. So that's always good. But Yilmaz, it looks like he's going to allow the 24. Is that Tunja going past? I believe it is. They're going to go side by side into turn 2. Effectively the first braking zone on the track. Teammates don't want to touch there though, but they managed to keep it aligned, and they're going to get nice and close again. Even though this is a team, they still have obviously solo issues they need to sort out. And Malin now is going to make a move on Octane, or is he defended? I'm not sure. I think he was just defending from the other Ferrari, Billy Octane and Harry Conway just behind as well. But yes, so far it's wide open, isn't it? It's pretty much how you'd want a championship decided to start. So the guys who are leading the championship have got it all to do as Mala gets a little bit out of shape, and this is going to give a chance to Octane now into the Aqua Minerales as he's going to get nice and close. Don't hit too much curb. This is always going to make me nervous. This is a bit close. But the two Ferraris, the two teammates, Octane and Conway, who are our team champions, Jesse. I believe it's those two, Octane and Conway, isn't it? They're the team champions for the season 2. So there they are running in line as well. But 10th and 11th at the moment. But I think Conway's got to be pretty happy so far. He's managed to stay out of trouble, and obviously he'll know his championship rivals are behind him. So he's just got to keep it risk-free now for the next, obviously, hour and 25 minutes, as his teammate hasn't done. But he's going to allow those guys to get past and rejoin safely. That's how it should have been done a little bit earlier on.
Well, I can tell you what's special about that pass right there. That means, unless I'm very much mistaken, that means that your current champion-elect is Harry Conway now.
Yeah, because it's 5 positions, isn't it? I think we
it is
kind of worked out. So, but obviously, you know, we have a history of doing math on the night owl, so don't hold us to it. We will confirm it all for you later on. Obviously, at the moment, it's all a little bit all over the place, but as the race settles down, we should be able to figure out and give you guys a bit of an outline of where drivers need to finish to obviously clinch titles and whatnot. So we'll try our best to keep you informed. But for the meanwhile, we've got a bit of a battle going on for P3, 3-car battle. We've got McLaren, an Audi, and a Ferrari, which is always good to see, a nice mixed car battle. But yeah, Lebrec, like I say, I think he's still got a good chance of winning this race. But Coombs, I know, is very quick in that Ferrari as well, and he's out in the lead. Bit of clean air as well. And we're going to go on board with the 778 Ferrari. This chicane, use all the curb if you can.
Oh,
might
a
be
bump.
A little bit of contact. Yeah, he definitely give Lebrec a bit of a nudge there, isn't he?
It is the last race of the season, and none of these drivers are holding anything back. It's been fast and furious action, and it's only been just about 7 minutes. A lot of you in chat are shrugging your head at some of the driving out of the drivers so far. And, I mean, why not? It was a bit rough for the start of a race, but one thing is for sure, they are now well and truly off and stuck with each other, and pass there being made. I think Lebrec thinking about making the pass on the outside on Sebastian Brunier. Can't quite do it. Has to fall back in line and doesn't have to go really that defensive. Look how much faster Lebrec is than Brunier. Lebrec trying to go down the inside here. Brunier gives him the room. He'll have it, I think, unless he loses the position. Oh, he won it. They're going to be 3 wide. Coming up to the hairpin on the outside. Jorge. Can they all get by? They do. Brunier sticks in the middle and loses 1 position, and Jorge will still have to get by him, but position to Lebrec.
Yeah, that was nice, respectful driving from the 3 of them. Just goes to show 3 do fit going into the hairpin, and also all the way around the outside as well. So nice stuff. And Brunier's having to go pretty defensive now, isn't he? The 778 now. Jorge is all over the back of him. He's going to potentially have a look into the chicane. No, he's not. He's just going to slot in. It is probably quite brave to dive in there, because it means you'd have to take even more of the curb. If that's even possible, I don't know. But yeah, Sundstrom is just looking at the timing tower. He's just caught up to the back of a mini pack at the moment, so he needs to make his way through as quickly as possible. Whereas obviously Vane,
Oh,
yeah, that was nice and close. We had a nice look at the diffuser of that McLaren. So here we go, Ferrari versus McLaren. Ferrari power in a straight line. Is it going to be able to get past? It's going to be pretty close. He definitely got a better run out of there, didn't he? But waiting in wake there is Yilmaz. He's going to have a little bit of a slipstream. But it looks like the 778 Ferrari is going to have the inside line for turn 2. So Brunier would be very, very brave to hang around the outside. But he did think about it, and he might lose out to Yilmaz now as well. The 778 has got the move done, and now he's going to come under threat. Brunier potentially from Yilmaz later in this lap. But in the background as well, you can see the Lexus under attack. It's all kicking off here at Imola so far.
yes, indeed. I just want to take a brief minute to thank all of our partners here at Racing Club International, Race Department AK Informatica, and Speed Labs. We appreciate everything that they do to keep us on the track and help us bring the action to you. And the action has been fast and a bit aggressive early in this race. I mean, aggression isn't something that people shy away from in Night Owl, but it was overly aggressive, perhaps over the line a little bit even.
Yeah, sometimes we've definitely seen some over the line, obviously throughout the season. But yeah, you know, I thought it was a bit of a risky rejoin from the Lexus earlier on, but that is Katosi, I believe, facing the wrong way there. Not ideal, but I've just been looking at the times. Johan Vane is absolutely smashing the lap times at the moment. He's the only driver, and Mahler as well, is in the 141s. He's currently lapping around 2 seconds faster than Sundstrom is, Johan Vane, and obviously he's got a clear track, but he has pitted very early, which means he probably would need to pit again for fuel, like you alluded to earlier on. But he's definitely making the use of the clear track. So as things go, I'd say Vane's probably got the upper hand on Sundstrom in terms of track position once Sundstrom pits, but obviously there's still a long time to go, and you can see the side of that BMW is pretty bashed up, isn't it? So, but he's not going to let that hold him back, as he's going to have a look now at Mathis down into turn 2. That BMW is pretty much just going to drive straight past the Porsche, and he's in front before the braking zone. And that's putting a lot of trust in your rival there as well to get on the anchors a little bit earlier than they would, but nicely done. And Sundstrom is through into P12.
Yeah, I think that's sort of what happens whenever you race with somebody a lot, like Sundstrom and Mathis do. A little bit of respect. He knows how Mathis is going to race him, and he, you know, like you said, he put some trust in there, but got it done in the end. Jake Coombs leads this race, by the way, in the 34 Ferrari over Kumpu. In the 25 Ferrari, Lebrec is all the way up into third place. Here is your leader in that, love that car, that Dayglow yellow and sort of blue affair. He has taken the lead from the opening lap or two, and he has sort of ran away with it. 3.6 seconds to gap to Kumpu in second place. Lebrec, though, right behind Kumpu for that second position. So Lebrec has the pace to be the leader of this race. In fact, there you saw them very, very briefly, all in the same picture. And Ishmael Lebrec thinking about making this pass sooner rather than later.
Yep, he definitely is. He's also one of the other drivers in the 141s, and that is that's very, very quick pace. And here we go inside turn 2. He might be a little bit too far back, but they've done well to avoid some contact there.
Curb.
But yeah, that was a little bit too far back. I think Lebrec kind of knew that, but he'd already committed to it. But Kumpu was alert to that, so he left a little bit more space than you usually would. But yes, this track does sort of allow for side-by-side racing, but you've guys got to be so on the edge. You're so tight, you know, especially those first couple of chicanes. If you're side-by-side, there isn't a lot of room either side. It's either a curb or a bit of grass. And yeah, so far for these guys, it's okay. But obviously we have seen 2 incidents at that chicane already, so we'll wait and see if any more incidents happen there. I'd probably, if I was a betting man, say there will be, because it's just the nature of the circuit. But hopefully it's not going to, end anybody's race. But we're going to jump on with Alex Rogers in the 119 McLaren. He's all over the back, or he's just been passed by Harry Conway, one of the two. But either way, he's all over the back of him. But Conway doing what he needs to do in terms of progressing through the field. But Sundstrom has closed that position deficit now to Conway. So obviously, I think obviously as things stand at the moment, I think Sundstrom would be the Night Owl champion. But obviously, Vane has cleared his mandatory, so he doesn't have to pit again. But he probably will need to, because I know the Mercedes is rather selfish on fuel. But up ahead, as we're on board in the McLaren, you can see Harry Conway having a look to try and take this position around the outside of turn 2, which we haven't seen yet today. But he's going to slot in. He's going to try and do the switcheroo now switch back to the inside for the exit of the chicane and have a nice run down now. So here we go. He's going to have to just slot back in though, I think. Yes, he is. But yeah, you can see the drivers are biding their time. I still think they do fear the circuit a bit, Jesse. It's all a bit new to them. But Harry Conway now is going to look down the inside of the hairpin, is he? He definitely is. He's sent it up the inside and blocked past as well. And there we go, Rogers through as well.
I think there might have been just a little bit of a touch from Rogers there, saying, nope, not closing up that gap, mate. I'm coming through as well. But Conway has made the pass, but it does not matter too much to Mikael Sundstrom right now, because he is still your championship winner at the moment. He is the leader in the clubhouse, if you will. Actually, they're not in the clubhouse, but you get my drift. Harry Conway having a eye-opening moment there, but doesn't get punished for it, gets back going. And you may have heard me a few times sort of make noises, and I do apologize, but every time they hit the curbs here in the 3-hour race, well, to put it lightly, it didn't usually go well. So anytime I see these guys clatter the curbs, I am very fearful that they're going to go off the track. Of course, the 3-hour race was very wet, Josh, and this isn't, and that seems to be playing a factor. But still, you mentioned earlier about going too wide over the curbs. You don't want to do that, because if you get sent over the big sausage curb, you're going to be airborne, and you might even end up backwards.
Yeah, airborne's never good. Unfortunately, brakes don't work in the air. So, yeah, if you go airborne, especially this curb here that we've just gone around, that one there is quite nasty on the inside there. But it looks like Kumpu's either made a mistake or he's just run out of pace somehow, but he's lost 2 positions in the last lap and a bit. So Lebrec now has already closed that gap to Coombs, because it was around 3.6, I think. It's now 2.6. So Lebrec pushing on as we expect him to in the Audi. And the Audi's not a car that does well with curbs, which is surprising. He's running so well at Imola, where you have to use curbs. And speaking of cars that like curbs, here is one of them. The AMG loves a curb. I'm sure in the 3 hours, Jesse, there was plenty of the 2020 AMG, because obviously, look at it, he's just driving over them. They're not even like, well, I say that, they're hardly making him move. But yeah, Vane is lapping really well, consistently 141s. He's definitely not out of this race at all. It may come back to him towards the end.
Well, yeah, there were plenty of Mercedes, but spoiler alert, Mercedes didn't win the 3-hour of Imola that we ran, despite the fact that half the field were Mercedes. They did not take home the top prize at the 3-hour, so that was surprising and entertaining as well. But here we have a Ferrari-dominated field. Ferrari still in the lead over Lebrec's Audi, but the question is, for how much longer is that going to be the case?
Yeah, well, both the drivers in front set personal bests last time around, but the personal best for Lebrec was around 7/10 faster than Coombs, and that's quite a dramatic amount, over the course of a lap. That's around 1 minute 42 seconds, but the gap is already down to 2 seconds now. I think Lebrec is going to arrive on the back of Coombs. Is whether he can sort of dispatch him, how quickly he can, as you see another 2/10 and a little bit more coming off the lead. But yeah, he's dropping the guys behind his Lebrec and gaining massively on the car ahead. So if he gets into the lead, I think he may just drive away, and obviously, hopefully into the sunset if you're Ishmael Lebrec. But it's never that easy, is it? It's never ever that easy. But Lebrec, you know, I'm sure he's used to leading races, and hopefully he won't suffer from a bit of complacency, and he'll be fine. But I think it's just a matter of time now before he does rock up to the back of that yellow and blue, or luminous yellowy green. What do you call it, Jesse? What do you call Coombs' car?
Dayglow?
Dayglow. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the official name for that car. So it won't be long before he rocks up to the back of that. But in the meanwhile, Harry Conway now is going to try and make his way past Seb Brunier. He needs to get the passes done as soon as possible, doesn't he, Harry Conway, if he wants to try and bring home the Night Owl Championship, as he's going to make a dummy move to the right-hand side. Very, very nice drive-in, and fair within the rules. Looks aggressive, but it's all within the restrictions of GT racing, so we're all good with that, and Seb Brunier defends him off for now.
So I've been doing some maths, and
I've heard this phrase too often now.
And I know there's an hour and 10 minutes left in this race, and I know that I typically only bring out the calculator and do the math at the end of the race, but bear with me here, folks. I've been doing the math. Harry Conway only needs to be 2 positions in front of Sundstrom to be the crowned champion here today. He needs to be 5 positions in front of Vane. Harry Conway is still leading this championship as they run. So do pay attention to that as Mikael Sundstrom comes up through the field. Conway 8th, Sundstrom 12th. That is still enough to give Conway the championship.
Word.
Oh, big Dukes of Hazzard curve. He's going to spin around backwards.
There?
That is exactly what I was talking about being offline and hitting that curb, Josh.
Yeah, he just sort of just lunged at Conway. That was really strange. I'm really interested to see what happens here. Oh, he outbrakes himself, and he tries to avoid him, and he's made it worse.
Oh.
But fair play to him for getting out of the way, because that could have been another twist in the championship tail, couldn't it? But he didn't hit anything, though, did he? I don't think he hit the wall.
I don't know, but hitting the ground that hard may cause damage to the car. I've certainly done that before at the likes of Spa, where I hit a curb so hard that it actually damaged the car. So that could have dealt damage to it. We don't really know, but even bigger drama avoided, and perhaps more importantly for Mikael Sundstrom, free position that he didn't actually have to make a pass on. So that gets him 1 position closer. And in fact, he actually just overtook Rogers for 10th place, did Mikael Sundstrom. And that means that Mikael Sundstrom is leading this championship.
Yeah, there's going to be... I'm glad you've done the... you've kind of figured it out. So Sundstrom needs to beat Vane by 2 positions to win the championship. And he needs to be within 2 positions of Harry Conway. Is that how we're... is that about right? Something like that? But,
yes, Ishmael Lebrec overtaking the Coombs Ferrari, getting it done. Didn't see that pass, but it did occur just, on this lap, in fact. So, new leader of the race, Ishmael Lebrec over Combs. That is how they run 1 and 2 right now. But yes, even more humorously, Josh, Sundstrom leads Conway by 1 single point.
1 single point, and that's what it comes down to. Final race, 1 point. That's not a bad championship, that is it? But Lebrec now needs to try and drive away from the pack of Ferraris behind him, and Mal is making his way through the Ferraris, or trying to at least. But here we go, on to the splitter of the Lexus, and he's going to take the inside line, and it looks like he's going to get that done. He does leave a little bit of space, but he doesn't need to, because he's already got it done going into the hairpin now, ahead up into P4. So Kumpu has sort of lost a bit of pace, hasn't he? He didn't, he never made any impression on catching the other Ferraris that overtook him. So he's down to P5. And Male now, again, who's a bit of a... I believe, isn't Male sort of one of the out... He's only, what, 5 or 6 points behind Harry Conway as well, Jesse. So let me add him into the mix as well. And you let me know once you've worked out the calculations. But I don't think Male's out of this either. I'm pretty sure it was really close between Male and Conway going into this. I could be wrong, though. But once Jesse figures it out, we'll hear from him. So Harry Conway, though, in the meanwhile, in a McLaren sandwich. One almost killed him last lap. He's overtaken one, and he needs to try and get past Brunier, who he's been behind for a short while now. Kind of hindering his progress a little bit, but Seb Brunier is definitely no easy customer. And Harry Conway just taking it easy, just trying to stay out of trouble, because he knows he's got half a chance if he can stay out of trouble today, especially with what we've seen already.
Oh dear, Josh, what have you done to me? Jose Jorge completes the pass in 3 and 4 on Jake Coombs. Jose Jorge up to second position. Now we've seen him show incredible pace, haven't we, Jose Jorge? And he hasn't really been rewarded a whole lot for it. That race at Silverstone comes to mind where it looked like he had it in the bag and had a self-inflicted spin that cost him a chance at a race win, is the big point for me. But he has been the standout for me with his pace, where he has been up near the front on the podium with shots to do great things. But you made me re-look at the points table and do more maths. And I've been doing the maths again.
Good.
Tom Mallet is actually winning this championship right now.
I thought so. I didn't think he was too far behind Harry Conway. I just thought he's in 4th, and he's probably one of the quickest on the track at the moment. And he's got like 4 positions back to Harry Conway. So, yeah, I thought I'd just throw that into the cauldron, if you will. So, yeah, this is all over the place at the moment. But obviously, Male needs the guys behind him to do, keep Conway, Sundstrom, and obviously Vane towards the end of this race as well. Vane is not done yet. He has been lapping really well, still in the 141s, low to mid 141s as well, which is obscene pace when you think about it. But obviously he hasn't got anybody in front of him. The gap I last remember was 27 seconds to the back of the pack, or the back of Robles anyway, but it's 15.7 now, so he is churning away at that deficit, and he will be a factor in this race come in about an hour's time. We'll know exactly what's going on, but for now, Mallet and Conway are the guys in the driving seat in the championship. Obviously Sundstrom 2.8 seconds behind the battle that we're kind of watching here. So it's all still to play for, and that's what makes a championship, is when you've got something to fight till the very end. So I'm excited for the next 63 minutes where we get to crown a new champion.
So here is how it stands right now. For anybody wondering, like, oh, you guys slept on Mallet because he was in 4th place. No, I did the calculations for Mallet, but he was in 6th place at the time. I didn't even notice that he had climbed all the way up to 4th, which makes him, as they run, the championship leader. So here's how this is going to work. Right now, Sundstrom leads Conway over a point for 2nd place. Sundstrom needs to be within 3 positions of Mallet to take the championship from the number 14 Lexus. But going to play devil's advocate real quick. What if there is a post-race penalty for his rejoin and taking out Sundstrom in the first place? Because remember, that was Mallet that did that.
You couldn't write that.
That would be a post-race penalty that could potentially lose somebody a championship.
Yeah, and hand it to the guy that you smashed off the track earlier on. That is, yeah, it's like something from a film, that is. But yeah, it could happen like that, Jesse. It literally could be that Mala gets, say, 5-second time penalty or a grid drop or something that puts him below Sundstrom, and then Sundstrom goes on to be the champion. So, but let's hope it doesn't come down to that. Let's settle it all on track. I'm sure Sundstrom's got a few words in his mind of what he thought at the time, but I'm sure he's probably over that now and he's focused on the job at hand. So I'm sure he wants to get it done on the track as well. There's nothing like, you know, getting it given to you later on. You know, like if you get a podium and then it gets taken off you and then it gets given to someone that didn't actually finish on the podium, it's not quite as sweet as actually, you know, achieving it on the track in the actual race. But you can see Sundstrom just in the background coming up over the hill in that monster of a BMW. So we could see Sundstrom and Conway fighting it out very soon. And obviously there is big implications if those two have a bit of an incident as well. So it's all going to come, you know, it's all going to come to an end, but it's going to go down to the wire. I think it's going to be ridiculously close, but at the moment Conway is being hindered massively by this McLaren of Brunier, isn't he? He just can't get a way through, and it's costing him a lot of time, and it's allowing Sundstrom to catch up.
Yeah, it sure is. And 1 hour left to go. Normal race distance here is an hour. Finale was 90 minutes, and if you missed the first 30 minutes of the race, well, what's been keeping you? As finally Harry Conway gets that position away from Brunier. Brunier not going to go out without some sort of retaliation. Can't quite get it done. Go ahead and put Conway up into 6th place. Mallet still leading the championship, though, because Conway and Mallet are only 5 points apart. That would be in favor of Conway, but for Conway to win it all, he would have to be in 4th right now. On Mallet as it stands right now. Sundstrom, of course, in 9th place. He will be gaining positions. But if you missed the first 30 minutes, let's talk about it. Your championship favorites, Johan Veen and Mikael Sundstrom, 1st and 2nd respectively, both have incidents with other cars on the opening lap, and both of them taking very different strategies on how to approach the race. After that, Johan Veen came down pit road immediately to service his Mercedes-Benz and got back out. He spent the large part of the opening stands of this race in dead last, up to 14th now by virtue of Combs and Rogers pitting. And he is, as Josh has been pointing out, been closing heavily on 13th place Robles. But that left Mikael Sundstrom, your championship leader, for a spell before Harry Conway overtook some more cars. Harry Conway, 3rd in the Cup, was end up leading the champ for a while, but only for it to be stolen out from under his nose by Taha Mallet, who has climbed all the way to 3rd place right now by virtue of some people pitting, but he was running 4th on his own merit. So that is how the first 30 minutes has shaken out. And it has been, well, my calculator is already smoking, and I have 58 minutes of the race left.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not that's not good that the calculator is going to break, because who's going to figure it out then? And don't ask me to do it. So, but yeah, Jesse, you spoke about those incidents regarding the 2 main championship contenders at the start of this race, who are now sort of on the back foot a little bit. We do have those incidents that we are going to put on the screen for you very soon. So the guys that didn't catch the incidents at the start, they will be coming up for you in the next couple of seconds. So here we are. Here is the first one. This was Johan Veen getting a little tap from the Lamborghini behind, coming into the second Aqua Minerale, and he was spun around. So a little bit of rear damage, but he manages to get it pointing the right way, and then he carried on, and he's been motoring ever since. He's been out on his own, and this one was a little bit worse. So Mikael Sundstrom has to try and avoid the Lexus, which is ironically Mallet rejoining and sort of pit maneuvering him around, hitting him about 4 times as well, and there's a little smack in the rear tyre wall as well, just for good luck. And obviously this is what Jesse was saying, that Mallet could get a grid drop, for example. Obviously we aren't the stewards. The stewarding is done post-race for this championship, obviously due to the start time and everything else. and he could potentially get a grid drop, which would hand the championship to Mikael Sundstrom. And as somebody in chat, Whippy Whip, has said, as much drama as a soap. And yeah, this could be a drama TV program. It really could. But you couldn't write it, so it couldn't be. But yeah, we're back to the action between the two McLarens of Ertan and Brunier. These guys were holding up, or Brunier was holding up Conway, but Conway's disappeared up the road now, but he's now keeping Ertan behind. So I wonder if Sundstrom will have the same issue, being jammed up between or behind these two for as long as Conway did, because Conway really did get stuck there for, you know, a good 4, 5, maybe even 6 laps. But he's already made his way to the back of Yilmaz, who is P5. So as you can see there at the bottom of your screens, there he is. He's coming around the chicane, and Sundstrom lying just behind, and Yilmaz has gone into the wall. It looks like has he disconnected, because he's left the race straight away.
Yep, that is indeed very well spotted there, Josh. That is what happened. I thought that he hopped the curb, as we're going to see this replay here.
It's like he just decided, I'm not turning left.
Nick Setnick has queued this up for us. So let's see. What I thought I saw was him take the curb really bizarrely. And yeah. Oh yes. Okay. So he has forfeited the race is what's happened. So something has happened there that has caused Yilmaz to park his car and leave the race for the day. So that promotes Harry Conway without a fight up into 5th place. Mallet still leads the championship, though. I have to press that because he is still 2 positions behind him, essentially. So Mallet leads the championship over Conway. Sundstrom behind them, and Vane, who started today with a handful of points in his fist, now finds himself in 4th place in the overall standings. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, it really is. But one thing I do want to point out about Vane, obviously, Coombs was our leader for quite a while, wasn't he? But Vane is around almost 30 seconds in front of Coombs. So that just is a real testament to how fast Vane is lapping at the moment in comparison to the rest of the field. We will see the actual sector time when Coombs does cross it, but in the free practice, like, you know, again, it doesn't mean a great deal, but he was around 5/10 faster than the 778 Ferrari, which is in pit road actually. So Vane definitely did have the pace over a single lap anyway, but that's why honestly, there you go, 29 seconds back to Coombs. There we go. Sundstrom's going to try and promote himself to P7, but Ertan's going to get a little bit too feisty there. Is he? No, he's not. He's just about going to keep on the road, and Sundstrom loses out. And there we go. Ertan has decided he doesn't want any more of that BMW, and he's going to come into the pits and get that sorted. But if you're Sundstrom, Jesse, do you think he's going to repair that damage, or do you think he's got the pace anyway? Because he is lapping really well, even with all that damage. Or do you think it's worth maybe that little extra bit, a couple of seconds? You know, do you think he can make it back up? But he did have quite a big smash, didn't he, into the side of the barrier here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he did, but like you said, it doesn't seem to be affecting him that much. I would say that if it's maybe 5 seconds, I would do it, but anything more than that, it's not worth losing. And especially now, I think Vane had it right. If he came in, Vane did, and fixed some of his issues, then yeah, that would almost make sense, though it was incredibly early in the race to do that, and I don't see how he could run an hour and 25 minutes on his fuel, Johan Vane. So I think Sundstrom, if it's 5 seconds or less, maybe you think about it, but if it's anything more than that and you're going this well, I don't think you really care too much, because again, Sundstrom's in that difficult position because he doesn't control his own destiny. He knows Mallet's in front of him. He knows Conway's in front of him. He knows at best, or at worst, he has to catch Conway, and he has to keep a gap on Vane, which he is doing right now. I don't think he can risk it by fixing it, mostly because the pace is still there. He's still coming through the field. And I will tell you one thing, Sundstrom's got to be feeling pretty darn good right about now when Ertan came into pit road, because it's all, thank goodness, I don't actually have to fight you for this spot. And hopefully his pace will allow him to beat him in the pit stop. So 90-minute race today. Still have to do the mandatory pit stop. Mandatory pit stop means you only have to add 1 liter of fuel. You don't have to make a tire change, but in a 90-minute race, every car in this field today will have to take some fuel to make it to the end, and they might even take tires in a 90-minute race. I would imagine they would. So things a little bit different than they are in normal season. Of course, this is the finale. We are happy to have all of you with us, and though we had a smaller grid than we had all season, the action has been, well, just as hot as Mikael Sundstrom here continues to try and get around Seb Brunier. And one thing about that earlier incident with Mallet and Sundstrom that we watched, I saw some people in chat talking about, oh, I don't even think the Lexus hit the brakes. I think he drove through them. Well, the replay showed that Mallet did hit the brakes. He was on the brakes, but still sort of had to drive through him a bit. Mikael Sundstrom, though, very quietly, very methodically making his way up through the field, trying to get it done here. And I don't know. We picked drivers at the start, Josh. So
We did.
where are we now? Who do we think is going to win the championship now?
Well, I picked the driver for the race win, and that was Lebrec, and he's doing just that at the moment. But the championship, we were just talking about Sundstrom and Vane at the start mainly between those two, but I think it's kind of swayed in Mallet's favour because there's a lot of time between these guys, and here goes Vane through on the 122 Lamborghini. But another interesting point, Jesse, though, even though Vane, like you say, may have to pit again, so he might be one of the only drivers that's two-stopping, so to speak. Jose in the 778 was running in P2, and Vane is 20 seconds in front of him. Like, that is a lot of time. So I think even with Vane having to pit again, he could still reel this in and be near the championship fight. I don't think he's out of it. And do you think Sundstrom even thought of Mallet as a bit of a, did he just think, I've just got to beat Vane, let's go out there and do it? Do you think the guys even really thought about Mallet? Because I know I didn't. I didn't really think of it until I seen him in P4 and was like, I'm sure he was pretty close to Harry Conway, but like he was an outsider. You know what I mean? Like Conway was like the wild card, and then Mallet is just shouldn't have even been within contention really, but he really is doing everything he needs to, and he's got a lot of time between himself and Conway, and obviously further back to Sundstrom as well. So I think Mallet is he's in the hot seat to bring this home, but obviously still not even at the halfway point yet. So a lot of stuff can still go on. But with the field spread out now a little bit more, as you look at the track map on the right-hand side, there's lots of room now. So now is the time to put the hammer down and get your lap times in while you've got a bit of space. And this is what this guy has been doing. He is the fastest guy on the track at the moment, a 1:41.0 last time around, and he also holds the fastest lap of the session as well, at 1:40.8. So Lebrec in the Audi is just flying at the moment, and he's not going to let anybody take it away from him. He can only take it away from himself at this point, so hopefully he can keep it on the track. And here we are, Billy Octane, Harry Conway's teammate, again just going about his business as he has done, as he always does. He's always a consistent top 10 finisher, is Billy Octane. So here he goes in the Ferrari up the hill. This is probably one of the best corners on the track. It's just, I love the fact you don't really see it, and then all of a sudden it's just full commitment. Trying to use as much of the curb as you can without exceeding track limits is always a nice challenge. Mikael Sundstrom still wedged behind Brunier, Jesse, so he's having the same issue as what Harry Conway had as well, where Harry Conway was just behind him for so long. But maybe Sundstrom will have the straight line speed, and he's definitely close on this lap, so wait and see if he can get that done into the first braking zone. But as you said at the start, it's actually turn 2, not turn 1, so let's wait and see if Sundstrom can get it done down the main straight.
Yes, indeed. This battle continuing. It just doesn't look like the BMW has the grunt down the straightaway or perhaps in the corners. But as I say that, he does draw incredibly close. Can he go to the inside here? Can he get it done? They will be side by side. Sebastian Brunier is going to try to do the crossover on the outside. Nothing doing. Position to Mikael Sundstrom. Sundstrom has made the pass and has gotten himself up into the top 5. Well past. Very, very patient man, Mikael Sundstrom.
Yep, so you've seen him do that to a Porsche earlier on. That was a little bit more difficult, that one. And he almost outbraked himself as well, but he's got it done. And now we're going to see if he can close down that 11-second gap to Conway. But as things stand now, Jesse, Sundstrom is now second in the championship, I believe, as he's only 1 place behind Conway. So Conway would still need to progress through the pack, wouldn't he? But hold on, have I just... So did you say it's 5 points increments? So
It's thereabout. And what I can tell you, because I was just doing the math, Mikael Sundstrom is now leading the championship as they run.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is it's going to be one of those ones we're going to have to work out, I think, as we're crossing, as we're approaching the finish line, approaching the checkered flag. But here is a big part of the race. Mallet is going to be pitting now, so will he take tyres? Probably. How much fuel is he going to add as well? Obviously, the tyres stop will be 30 seconds stationary time anyway. So obviously you can take enough fuel for whatever you need. And obviously drivers could have started with less fuel as well. So obviously Lebrec's pace could be down to the fact that he only put half a tank in, for example. You know, enough for, say, 50 minutes or something. I'm not saying he has, but, you know, obviously you don't have to take a full tank. Because obviously most people will be taking tyres anyway. You won't be stationary any longer. Whether you take 1 litre of fuel or 100 litres of fuel, it won't make a difference. So obviously you might have worked it, you know, might have split your fuel strategy rather than going for full tank and then topping up to make the end of the race. You may have gone half and half type thing. Obviously, we'll have to just wait and see. But Lebrec looks like he's got it in the bag in terms of race pace. So as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he'll be, he should be bringing home the trophy from Imola. That is the first position in the race. Trophy, that is, not the championship one. But here we go, Jesse, as what I was trying to say earlier on. Vane is actually in front of Mallet now. I'm not sure what the gap is just yet, but we will see what the gap is once Mallet crosses the sector line. But
Josh.
Vane might have to pit again. But yeah, go on. I think I know what you're going to tell me.
Folks at home, you're going to love this. Johan Vane back in the championship lead as they run.
I thought you were going to say that. Yeah, this is going to be one we're going to have to just keep it up to date, and obviously keep ourselves up to date as well. There's so much to it's changing all the time. So, but he may have to pit again, Jesse, like you say, an hour and 25 minutes on 1 tank of fuel, unless he's been using different engine modes. But judging by his lap times, I don't think that's the case. And Harry Conway comes into pit, and Mikael Sundstrom up into P3. Obviously not yet cleared his mandatory pit stop. But Vane is the leader in terms of the drivers that have cleared their mandatory pit stop. But I think even Lebrec would have that covered regardless. Anyway, just because of the gap he has to the number 25 Ferrari. So most drivers electing to go for around the halfway mark, which is probably not a bad idea, to be honest with you. But I'm impressed with Sundstrom. That BMW is quite beat up, isn't it, after that incident he had? But he has not let that hinder him at all. He is still lapping really well, although his best lap is a 1:41.9. And if you compare that to Lebrec's 1:40.8 as Lebrec comes into the pits, great timing with the camera selection yet again. I think Sundstrom could probably be closer to Lebrec's personal best time if he didn't have that damage. So it is probably hurting him a little bit, but not as much as you'd expect because he is fighting through it. But I reckon it's costing him half a second easy.
Well, I gotta tell you, I like this strategy that almost everybody in this race has used. Come in near the halfway point in the race, get some tires, fuel, whatever it is you need, meet your minimum pit stop requirement, which again is only 1 liter of fuel in Night Owl. But they will likely be taking on fuel and probably even tires, I would imagine. I would not want to go an hour and a half on tires out here. You would gain a lot more time with new boots than not taking them. That's usually how it goes. But splitting the race in half, probably the best strategy, the simplest and the safest strategy as well, but probably still the best one, as only a handful of cars, including now second place Mikael Sundstrom in the Triple R powered by RCI BMW. And of course, Kumpu leading the race. I don't remember if he actually led early in the race or not, but either way, out front now in the 25 Ferrari.
I think it was Coombs, and then Kumpu was second for quite a while, but he's still running well, isn't he?
He is. He's definitely up there. He's definitely one of those guys that if I were racing for this championship, I'd be praying for mercy to not get in my way, but he's not in the way is the thing. He's holding position well, but right now, for some of these guys racing for the Cup, he's a wedge in between them and where they need to be. But you know what they say, that is racing.
It sure is. And we just had an interesting point brought to my attention by Nick Setnick, that Vane's pit stop was only 53 seconds as opposed to the average of 1 minute 20. So he's obviously, he didn't do something in the pit stop, whatever that was. He didn't do it, but he's under pressure now from Lebrecht, and this is for position, and these guys have both cleared the mandatory pit stops. We don't know if Vane has to pit again or not. I'm assuming he does, but Lebrecht doesn't need to know that, and Lebrecht probably doesn't know that. So, as far as he's aware, he just needs to get past the AMG and get that race lead back.
I am going to play devil's advocate again. I think Lebrecht does know that as Johan Vane comes back in pit road. I think Lebrecht does know that because I think Lebrecht listens to this stream in the background of his racing. So I think he knows everything that we know.
Amazing.
But Johan Vane, based on what that information that we were given to us, I'm pretty sure that Vane did half of his pit stop in the opening laps and is now coming in to get fuel, is what I think is happening here. And maybe he fixed his car, did something, and now he's coming on to tack on that extra little bit of fuel. Yes, it's 2 trips down pit road, but it's the least damaging option of anyone in his case. Interesting strategy. If we crown Vane the champion here in 39 minutes time, it would be very interesting to hear what his strategy was, and if it works out, I mean, it's going to be one of those that you just have to believe is going to work. 3 cars still left to pit. Your leader, Kumpu, Sundstrom, and then in 4th place, Robles are the only cars not to pit yet. They all have to at some point. Lebrecht, who had taken the lead and was leading by quite a large margin in 3rd place right now, but has a massive gap on Jose Jorge, which is the 2nd car that has pitted. And where did Coombs go in all of that? Back to 7th place. Jose Jorge up to 2nd and Mallet 3rd of the drivers that have pitted. And I'm not even going to try and do the championship math. I'm going to wait for those little amber number 1s to turn to green placards before I try that again.
Yeah, so Vane has brought himself back into it, at least. He's only 2.5 seconds behind Brunier. So if you worked it out just quick, you're talking around 15 seconds, probably a little bit less. Vane is only that distance behind Harry Conway. So you'd like to think that Sundstrom is probably going to fit in between Vane and Conway somewhere. So Vane isn't out of it by any stretch of the imagination. He was just pumping in lap times when, to be able to recover the mindset more than anything. I'm one that struggles with that. If something happens to me early on, I get very angry, and then you start overdriving, and then you make more mistakes, and then you end up probably returning to pits and just calling it a day. he was spun around. The championship leader was spun around on lap 1, and he was, able to regroup, get into the pit road, and come out there and set fast lap times. So fair play to him for that. In terms of the mental part of a race, because you can get angry. I imagine he was probably cursing once that happened, but he has recovered very well, and I think he's got the pace to really, really bring this fight to Conway and Sundstrom and now Mallet on track. I think Vane isn't even a factor in this race. He's not out of it yet. I think he's still got a good chance of getting a good finish. I do think Lebrec is going to bring this one home though. But here is the final championship contender coming in for his mandatory pit stop. I don't think he'll fix the car, Jesse. I think you made some valid points that it's probably not worth it. And I'd say that's definitely more than 5 seconds worth of damage. The way he hit that tyre wall was quite the shunt. So I don't think it'll be 5 seconds. It's probably more like 25 seconds, to be honest. But we'll wait and see where he filters out. I'm probably going to say just in front of Vane, maybe, depending on how long the pit stop is. But Lebrec now will have his lead back once Campu decides to come into the pits for his mandatory pit stop. So all good so far for him. He is bringing home the goods. And I didn't want to say I told you so.
Well, I gotta say, I think, of anyone here at RCI, Josh, and I'm pretty sure, we should actually keep a tally of this now that I think about it, but I'm pretty sure as Mikael Sundstrom does exit the pits, he's back in 9th place, so he does get out in front of Vane still, but he is quite far down the order. But again, Robles and Campu still have to pit. But I think out of everyone here at RCI, Josh, I think you've picked the most winners. I think you've been the most consistent, honestly.
Well, that's always good, because I know particular commentators, no names, pick winners and then they don't win and they don't finish half the time. So I'll take that. But yeah, I think I called a winner. I can't remember which race it was. Definitely one of this season. But let's hope Lebrec now doesn't break that little streak of picking a winner. But I just looked at the grid and I thought Lebrec, like, he is ridiculously fast, but he just has bad luck. Like you said, I didn't realize he'd had 2 podiums and a win. And he was nowhere near the top of the championship. That's mind blowing to me. But I didn't think he'd even had that good of a season. So I kind of, when I said it hasn't been a good season for him, I meant kind of on his terms then, I guess. But there you go. He got his lead back anyway. He's been, just from what we've seen of him, quite flawless so far. So he's doing his job. And obviously the other guys are just the ones with the championship in mind. Obviously have got a little bit more to lose, but they're probably not thinking of that. They just want to get as high up in the race as they can. I think Vane would be thinking about it because obviously he was leading, so obviously it's probably one of the only things on his mind. Whereas Sundstrom obviously wants to be more aggressive, and he needs to beat Vane. Vane just needs to stay within a couple of positions of Sundstrom, doesn't he? So Vane just needs to pretty much stay where he is. What he's doing right now is perfectly fine, I think.
Well, let me count out real quick. I think Taha Mallet is leading this championship again as of right now. I'm pretty confident in that because Vane is so far behind. I think if Johan Vane gets around Brunier, I think at that point, Vane or Conway are your championship leaders. But I'll tell you that we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, Taha Mallet is your championship leader as they run. The lights ablaze for Billy Octane, who was just recently passed by Rogers. Now Octane wants back by him. And speaking of McLarens here, Mikael Sundstrom gets by Seb Brunier. Brunier down to 10th place. Brunier is actually catching Mikael Sundstrom. Sundstrom was in 9th whenever he left pit road. And in the background, you can just see a flash of the 759 Mercedes of Johan Vane coming into the frame here. What a recovery drive it would be for him. And I want to go back to Lebrec. What a season it could have been for him. Started the championship off with a podium, had a win, and then I think he missed the second race. He signed out for that race, couldn't make it, but he had one bad race, which was race 3, and then a win. So it's going to be a season of what might have been for Lebrec if he wins his second race of the season here today. And even with that bad finish, it wouldn't have been the end of the world if he would have probably gotten points that week that he obviously wasn't able to make it. But hey, that's life. You don't get to, make it up. It comes at you the way it does, and you miss a race, you don't get points. And I'm not really sure Lebrec cares too much. I think he values winning as much as the next guy, and a win is a win regardless of where you are in the championship standings, especially in this season with the reverse grid.
Yeah, exactly that. And you see Robles, the last car to come in and pit. So he's going to clear his manager. I think he's pretty much going to go all the way to the back, I think. Looking at the sectors, I think he's going to pretty much filter out into 14th. But yeah, Lebrec, have we had a double winner in this championship so far? I don't think we have we? Only we've had a driver to have 2 wins. So that's that's something he could take home. Maybe we can get a medal for that as well. I don't know.
You're correct. Nobody in the 4 races that we've ran, nobody has repeated as a winner. We've had some surprising winners. We've had some winners that have come through the field, and
we've had 2 drag races to the finish line.
That's true. To be the guy who wins multiple races in a short season like that is the most Ishmael Lebrec thing I've ever heard of. Meanwhile, Billy Octane still back here trying to get by Rogers. He's going to try to go around the outside. If he can stay on it, he might have the inside for the next corner. Can't quite do it. Has to go over the curb. Can't get it done. Rogers still in front. Octane has to back off, and he will try that again, as that was a very heated charge, but was not able to maintain the position. It's so hard. Those baguette curbs there, they throw you around. It's so hard to keep your pace when you hit those things.
Yeah, it definitely is. But Octane knew which curb was going to send him in the air, so he did manage to get onto the brakes just in time, which was good, because we don't really want drivers in the wall if we can avoid it. But got a message in chat saying one of the lap times looking like right now. So the fastest guy on track at the moment at a quick glance is the race leader, Ishmael Lebrec, a 1:41.3. And then just behind him, actually no, looking at it, I was wrong, as Mal has crossed the line. It's a 1:41.0 for him, and that is a personal best for him. A 1:41.0 is only a 10.5 from the fastest lap of the race, but Mal now won't be setting any personal best times while he's stuck behind the 778. He needs to get past him, and this could be huge for the championship if he can get another position, and that gets him another load of points. So this is going to be interesting now. Jorge is no slouch, and I don't think he really cares about Male's championship intentions, and he just wants to keep him behind for as long as possible, and that he will do. But Male, do you think Male actually knows he's leading or potentially leading the championship at this point? Because I probably don't think he does, or maybe he does. Because it's so hard to work out even when you're trying to calculate, and never mind when you're trying to navigate Imola as well, with all the curbs and the chicanes, as the Italians do. But I wonder if he actually knows. I wonder if he knows that he is potentially bringing home the Season 2 trophy.
Well, I can speak from experience that going into the race, I've done it both ways in a championship scenario where I've known how many points I needed, or how many points ahead I needed to be, or how many, I needed to make up, and equated that to positions. But the problem with that is that there's 4 players in this, and I've never been part of a championship where there were 4 players where it wasn't black and white, beat them and wins. So I really wouldn't know too much, but so he's going to go to the outside of Jose Jorge here. It did not work for Conway, but will it work for Mallet as they go into turn one? It's going to be a squeeze. It's going to be a bump. He's going to escape through the grass. That pass is going to be made. Is there going to be a crossover? Yes, there is to the outside. Can't quite get it done. Has to fall back in line as Jose Jorge, but position to Mallet up into second place in this race in a position, in a move that could potentially mean a championship for the man in the Lexus. That's an incredible job, incredible move, and a little bit of a touch. You know, you sort of hit that escape button, if you will. You missed the track, but, you know, there's always a little room for error there. But I don't know about Mallet in this case. He would have known where he stood against Vane and Sundstrom. I don't know. Well, actually, no, he would have known where he stood with Conway because he knows it's a single position. So I'm going to disagree with you. I think Mallet knows exactly where he is in this championship.
Well, that's fair enough, but if he does, he has big cojones, as they say, because he has literally just gone around the outside of Tamburello as if he had nothing on the line. And maybe if he does know, then I have great respect for that move. That was so risky. Obviously, he was forced off the track. There's not enough room. Always gone a little bit too wide there. He's taking the Valtteri Bottas line around Ravazza.
Oh, really, Josh?
So, but he's going to come under threat now from the Ferrari, or is he just going to pull away? Are we seeing this? He is literally pulling away from him. Even with the slipstream, that Lexus was pulling away, but now the Ferrari is taking the full effect of that slipstream, but it's not going to be enough. But what I was saying was he did get forced off the road, so that's why I don't think he gave the position back, because he felt, well, you hit me out here, so I'm going to keep it. But obviously, there may be a steward's inquiry for his earlier actions with Mikael Sundstrom, so we may provisionally crown Mallet the champion later on in this race, as Coombs and Kumpu now are going to get nice and close, and that's Harry Conway. Is he going to get a free two positions, or is he going to get hit off here? 3 Ferraris, 3 different colours, so it's nice and easy to see who's who. But Conway there, I think he smelt that. He's, 2 free positions, yes please.
Oh, look at this!
Yeah, there we go. Kumpu's gone off, and he's not going to rejoin in a inconsiderate manner. He's going to rejoin the track as it was, and there we go. There's 1 free position for Conway, and it looks like he fancies the P4 off Kumpu as well, and that would bring Conway right back into play in this championship.
Yeah, for Conway, it is a long road. He has to be in 3rd place to contend with Mallet for this cup. And it's a long road to go from 5th place, but not undoable, especially considering he is on the offensive. And just wanted to cover a few things. Longtime RCI supporter Mehmet Kara in chat saying that Tuncer has retired from the race due to a wrist injury. So, well, that's certainly a reasonable reason to retire from a race. I hope you feel better, Tuncer. And thank you, Kara, for that information. And Nick Setnick is motioning at the fact that Robles has retired from the event. Says that he towed to pit road and it was a self-inflicted incident that led to his retirement. And that's leaves us with 13 cars and a lot less points on the board than there were at the start of the race. But considering all of our championship contenders are inside the top 10, I don't think they mind too much. As best we can tell, the number 14 Lexus of Mallet leads the championship over what I believe to be Mikael Sundstrom over Johan Vane and Conway, and I think Sundstrom is the one in 4th place right now. I'll get harder numbers for you in a moment, but that appears to be the way it is right now. And we are very, very quickly running out of time here at Imola today. 23 minutes to go. 9:15 a.m. in sim time. It's warming up a bit. 13 degrees on the track 12C, and at least the track is optimum. And, well, we already knew the track was optimum, Josh, because of the lap times these guys are running that you pointed out earlier.
Yeah, the lap times are pretty quick. Ishmael Lebrecht's done a 1:40.5, which is obscene in race, in a race situation, race trim, if you will. But yeah, it hasn't got a great deal warmer. Only 2 degrees Celsius warmer than it was earlier when we started the race at I think it was around 8:05 a.m. or something like that. But one thing I gotta say, where the hell did that time go? I can't believe there's only 22 minutes left. It doesn't feel like we've been in this race for almost an hour and 10 minutes. I've got to say, with everything going on and all the championship points and ebbing and flowing all the time. Sundstrom at one point was winning the championship, then it was Conway, then it was Malley, then it was Vane, which was quite comical at one point. But yeah, it's just been a crazy race in terms of the action on track and the championship fight as well, which always makes it exciting. The race would still be exciting anyway, but with everything else that's going on, if we crowned a champion already going into this race, obviously we wouldn't have so much to talk about and so much to bring to obviously the viewers, and it gets us excited as well, because we want to be able to fight till the very end, and at this moment in time we are getting that. But we will confirm at the end of the race, even if we're not sure as the checker flag comes down. We will try and work that out very quickly and let you know who does win the championship. But if it is Malley, it's going to come with an asterisk as far as I'm concerned, because I think he will definitely be reviewed. That was it, lap 1? I think it was lap 2, wasn't it? The lap 2 incident. I don't think it's a stonewall penalty, but it's definitely going to be looked at. But Sundstrom, in the meantime, is again stuck behind a McLaren. That seems to be the story of today, just getting wedged behind a silver McLaren. The McLaren boys are just really defending well. Seb Brunier was really good at defending earlier on to Harry Conway, and now it's Ertan and Sundstrom, and Ertan in P7's going pretty well in the McLaren. I quite like how clean the McLaren looks, just that silver metallic paint, nice and simple, nothing too much. So I quite like that car, looks wise. With Sundstrom not able to get past, but here he is, Ismail Lebrec. There you go, his best time at 1:40.5, and his last stop, not last stop, sorry, his last lap at 1:41.5, and his pit stop was 1:18. So obviously he didn't take a great amount of time. He obviously just topped up with the fuel he needed, took tyres, and that was that. But he's got a 27-second lead, pretty much, to Taha Malley, and Sundstrom's going to send it at the hairpin. Oh, I honestly thought he was going to plough straight into the side of that McLaren then. That was close, but yeah, Sundstrom's getting impatient now. He needs to make his way up. I guess he knows he needs to try and be a bit closer to Conway if he has a chance of bringing home the trophy. So I hope he knows, because I don't know where exactly he needs to finish, but I know he needs to be closer than that. So he needs to make it happen in the next 19 minutes. Otherwise, he won't be crowned champion as it stands at the moment. So Malley, going about his business as he is the Night Owl champion, we think. But again, there's still time to go. If Vane jumps ahead of Brunier, that could throw a spanner in the works, I think. But like I say, we will figure it out and confirm it to you. Even if it's just after the checkered flag, we will confirm it on the stream before we finish, because obviously we all want to know who the champion is. But I think at the moment it's Malley, and Conway is now looking to improve past Coombs. Again, this could sway things a little bit, but I don't think he can get any higher than 4th though, Jesse, because the 778 Ferrari is way too far up the road. So I think P4 is probably the best Conway's going to get today.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And, we're closing in on the end of the championship. And I just want to say a few words to all of you that have shown up and shown out for the Night Owl Championship, staying up late in Asia and Europe for this. Of course, this championship, the brainchild of Mr. Mike Jones, who wanted to have a later start on a Saturday afternoon or evening to allow a lot of the North American and South American Western Hemisphere people a chance to race at a later date that's not in the middle of the afternoon. And that's worked to great effect. But what we could have never thought of or imagined when envisioning this project was just how many Europeans and Asian market, Oceania people just don't care. They will race anytime you put a race up, and that has just been fantastic to see. So thank you on behalf of RCI for your continued support, and we hope that you have enjoyed this championship as much as we have enjoyed bringing it to you. And hard to believe, 17 minutes away from the finale, the fireworks, and a little bit of a rest before 2021 and Night Owl returns. And I have already heard, Josh, that Mike Jones, the mad scientist himself, is already thinking for a twist for season 3.
Oh, okay. Do we know what that is? Or is it just he's thinking of a twist in his little evil way that he does?
Well, I can tell you what happened the other day. I asked him, he said, yeah, I'm thinking about something to make season 3 special. And I'm like, oh, yeah, what are you thinking of? And he went, he, I don't know yet.
Yeah, as he does. But in the meantime, Harry Conway has improved to what I think is going to be his peak position today, P4. If you look at the track map, you can see the 778 Ferrari is the next dot up the road, which is too far away, I think. But Sundstrom now is very, very close to P6 as well. He's currently in P8. He can see 2 cars ahead of him that he needs to improve. You know, at this rate, they don't know who's winning the championship. I don't know who's winning the championship. But what I do know is Sundstrom just wants to get as high as he can up this grid before the end of the race. And this Ferrari of Kumpu may be helping him here, holding up the McLaren and forcing him into the clutches of Mikael Sundstrom. But yeah, I want to echo what you said. You know, everybody that's turned up, whether it's been watching on YouTube in the streams or, you know, taking part in the races, it's a real testament to what we, you know, the community we have here at RCI. It's an absolute pleasure to be back involved with everything, and, you know, trying to be involved in as many races as we can, and trying to stream as many of them as we can as well. You know, it means a great deal for the, you know, to us that the support we have, as always. And Mikael Sundstrom now has the inside line, and the McLaren is going to be compromised there as well. He couldn't carry as much speed as he wanted to because obviously there was a Ferrari in his way. So Sundstrom now P7, hoping to be P6 very, very soon. Is the McLaren going to have a look back? No, he's not. And I believe we've just lost another driver. Didn't see who it was, but they did disappear. And I believe, Jesse, it is Johan Vane. He is gone.
Oh, no. That is a big, big loss in this race. He was faced with an uphill battle almost immediately, and he had fought valiantly to put himself in a position where he could potentially still win this championship. But Josh, I hate to speculate, but that's sort of my job. I wonder if maybe he just saw the writing on the wall, or maybe he had some other sort of issue that cropped up. Well, either way, that means that he will likely be credited with 13th, which means he will fall in the final week from 1st to 4th in the standings.
Yeah, which isn't ideal, but you know, it is what it is. It's racing. It's why we love it, and it's why he'll probably be back next season to, you know, to get a bit of not payback, but, you know, to make sure he can get it done this time. Because to be fair, in terms of outright pace, he's definitely been one of the top guys. Obviously, you don't end up in the championship lead if you're not a top driver, and all these guys are top drivers, but he's been brilliant all season. And Mikael Sundstrom as well has also been brilliant all season. Mr. Consistent. He has just driven past the number 25 Ferrari, and that puts him into P6 now. So we got Mahler in P2, Conway in P4, Sundstrom in P6. So this might get a little bit easier to work out now, Jesse, because you can pretty much write Vane out of it now. So we've only got 3 players, and I think is it Sundstrom now? Potentially, it's not Conway.
Well, guess what?
You've got the answer.
I've been doing some math.
Yes.
And you are, folks at home, You are not going to believe this. With 12 minutes left in the season, Conway has 195 points, Mallet has 197 points, and Mikhail Sundstrom has 198 points as they run.
Wow. So it's literally that close.
Yes.
But looking at where we are at the moment, the only car that can actually, well, pretty much improve its position would be Sundstrom, and that's a 7.5 second ask in 11 minutes. Because Mahler is 28 seconds behind Lebrec, who is just basically setting this place on fire with his lap times. And Conway is way too far down behind the 778. So Sundstrom is the only one that can really make this happen then, really, I guess. Because, sorry, who did you say had the most points? Conway.
No. Sundstrom is leading Mallet by 1 point.
Oh, he is leading by 1 point. Right, okay.
So it's even worse than that. Even with the retirement for Vane, he has 1 point less than Conway. Conway has 195 and is third place in the Cup standings. Vane has 194.
So it's only Sundstrom then that can really lose it now. So
it is Sundstrom's to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, 10 minutes is still, a good few laps around Imola, and anybody can make a mistake at any point. But yeah, this guy is the driver of the day. I know all the talk has been about a particular 4 drivers, but Lebrec has just been class of the field by quite. I know he started higher up than the others, but he's been he's just been fantastic, hasn't he? Really, he just hasn't really put a foot wrong. He just hasn't put a foot wrong.
He has the fastest lap, which, by the way, is worth 2 points in this championship, the fastest lap. Lebrec has it. It's a 1:18.185, and he will get 2 additional bonus points. And perhaps more importantly, that takes it away from one of the 3 championship contenders that we have here. And, of course, they can't pit and put tires on and just try to smash out the lap because they need the points that they have right now to keep it so close. But unless something changes, folks, it looks like Mikhail Sundstrom is going to be Season 2 champion by a single point.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. And the only driver looking at the times that could even get, well, he's not even close to the fastest lap, but Mallet is got the quicker lap out of the 3 championship contenders, but he's even then half a second off Lebrec's time. So with this late on, yeah, okay, we're on low fuel, but with the tires that have run for potentially, just short of 40 minutes now, or just over 40 minutes, I can't see him doing that. But could you imagine it come down to a fastest lap? So if Mallet was to get the fastest lap, he would get 2 points, and that would promote him to the championship lead, wouldn't it?
He would win by a single point, yeah.
That would just be amazing. But it's not going to happen, I don't think, because that is a big ask. Like you said, he can't pit and put fresh tires on because he would drop from second to pretty much, sort of P8, P9, so he'd lose it anyway. So it's not worth for the extra 2 points. But yeah, it's a good point. I didn't even think of the fastest lap points coming into it, but Lebrec has made sure that it won't come into it anyway, really, hasn't he? He's just gone, yeah. He's the only one in the 40s, actually. In the 140s. Mallet's done a 141 flat. So he hasn't quite dipped into the 140s, but that's insane pace from Lebrec. Fair play to him. He has been brilliant. But 8 minutes to go, it still could all change. You never know. Lebrec, touch wood, doesn't make any mistakes, but if he does, that would pretty much hand it to Mallet, I think, or maybe it'd definitely be another implication to the championship. But here is Billy Octane in the team's championship winning car, the pink and light blue windbreaker that Nick Setnick used to own, coloured Ferrari. But here he is in the number 33, approaching Rogers in the McLaren, the 119. But yeah, we've only got 7 and a bit minutes left of Night Owl Season 2. and it's a shame it's coming to an end. But obviously, it is the season for holidays, and obviously people won't be able to race anyway. So we will come back in 2021 with this, but. Still 7 minutes for something to change, Jesse, and with the Night Owl being the Night Owl, who knows what could happen.
You just never know. I mean, we've seen so many crazy things today that it's just impossible to tell. So for the next 7 minutes, we are going to watch with bated breath as Mikael Sundstrom in 6th place. He has made up nearly 2 seconds on Jake Coombs in front of him. Making that pass is not necessary and could potentially lose him a championship if it goes wrong. But if he were to make that pass, it would make it a bit more comfortable for him as Sebastian Bernier and is that Kumpu there?
It is, yeah.
They're fighting, yeah. So these two continuing the fight out for 8th place. Looks like Kumpu has the legs on the straightaway. Bernier up to 9th place. He was as high as about 3rd, I think, at one point in the race. He was one of the cars that got away from the opening dramas and was able to benefit greatly, and he spent the entire race up here inside the top 10 fighting all sorts of drivers. I think he's seen most of the cars in this field, actually, has Bernier. But I want to go back and talk about Billy Octane and Harry Conway for that team championship winning group. They have shown up all season. They've put in the work. They've done an excellent job. They've got podiums and good finishes from both cars. They've been consistent, and don't let the points or the drivers' championship overshadow what they have been able to accomplish this season, and just sort of give them an attaboy. I mean, that K-Tech Horseflow team, they have shown up. They've done a really great job, and Conway in particular today has done everything in his power to try and win this cup. I mean, you heard the points. It's really close, and him and his very, very fast teammate, Mr. Billy Octane, have done enough that they are locked in as team champions. I lost my place on my paper there, Josh. They are the team champions, K-Tech and Horseflow, for season 2. So congrats to that team. Probably, if I'm being biased, my favorite color car in the field today. Definitely also had a nylon windbreaker that was like that in the early 90s, Josh.
Yeah, well, I didn't, because I wasn't here in the early 90s. So, yeah, I also like the Brex livery. I think it's probably my favorite. It's just nice, gloss black car with the same pink and blue, actually, as the K-Tech and Horseflow team. So, obviously those guys very close-knit group, very good friends as well. But I'm just thinking, just looking back at the race now, and Conway obviously getting stuck behind Bernier for so long may have cost him maybe even a chance at improving to 3rd place. Probably not, with the gap being 26, but if he cleared him a little bit quicker, you never know what could have happened to you. So, but Billy Octane just really doesn't want to be behind the McLaren anymore. But this is the story of the race. McLarens have just been keeping people behind and doing a great job at it as well. They have got past eventually, but they seem to be able to just keep them behind for a long period of time, which really did hurt Harry Conway early in the race. But he did get past Bernier in the end, and he did march all the way up to P4. Like you said, he'd done everything he could. He can't get better than P4, and we knew that quite obviously towards, when we got to about 20 minutes. We knew he couldn't really get much further unless there were mistakes for the guys up ahead. But here is the provisional championship leader winner at the moment. He has, again, had a great drive after, considering he was facing the wrong way, and he was in that wall, in that very wall that we can see on the right-hand side of the screen. To think that he is still going to be the Night Owl Championship, Night Owl champion, sorry. Just a testament to what Mikael Sundstrom does, really. He just doesn't necessarily win the races, but he's always up there, isn't he? He just brings it home, and does it consistently. And same goes for Lebrec as well, as we're going to have one more lap after this one. And that will round out the Night Owl finale here at Imola, the 90-minute special. And it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate on as well. It's been very exciting, and doesn't feel like I've been sitting in this box for 90 minutes, Jesse. I don't know about you, but it's been one of the ones that feels just as fast as the 60-minute ones that do, really. It didn't feel any longer.
No, I maintain a lot of the time that Night Owl is some of the funnest racing we do here at RCI, and a lot of the drivers, they don't get me wrong, it's taken seriously. It's still serious racing, and they're out here racing for a championship, and well, 2 championships really if you count the team one. And it is something that we experiment with here at RCI. We do some interesting things to promote well, more competitive racing, and these guys come out here late on a Saturday and put in excellent work and put on fantastic shows. And almost every single Night Owl race we've ever done has been incredibly memorable, and it's been so good, Josh, to have you back for season 2. And I'm so looking forward to season 3. But let's talk about Mikael Sundstrom for a minute, as he is on the march to win the championship here. As, oh my goodness, Kumpo is going to go a little bit into the dirt there. He's going to somehow be able to defend that position for now. He's going to go really defensive down into the third here. He's going to have to, Seb Brudier is going to have to go around the outside. Not going to be able to do it. Kumpo not willing to give up that 8th place position, fighting incredibly hard. Ishmael Lebrec, however, has taken the white flag. He is on the last lap of the race. But as I was saying about Mikael Sundstrom, he has 1 podium this season. He's not going to get one today, and he is going to win this championship. No wins, 1 podium in a 5-race championship. And the reason for that is because, yeah, he may not have a podium, but he's finished 4th, 5th, and 6th the entire time. He's been there, and that is what has won him the championship. And Lebrec, of course, missed that race, and he has a win. He's about to get his 2nd win and have another podium. So he'll have 3 podiums and 2 wins, will Ishmael Lebrec. And you would think that Lebrec was in the championship hunt, but of course he missed that race. And Mikael Sundstrom proving that you don't have to win races to be consistent and finish high up in the standings. And he did it in a BMW too, in a time where people were uncertain of the pedigree of that thing and how fast it was going to be. It got a BOP update at some point, and it's incredible the journey that he's been on just in this one race alone too, from being back in the wall and 2nd to last in this race to up inside the top 10, making passes. And that final pass right there on Ertan that he made is going to prove, if he can make it around one more time, to be a championship winning move. But let's not forget about this guy, Ishmael Lebrec, Triple R Vacuum Cleaner Boys, as they were called in Season 1, wins his 2nd race of Night Owl Season 2 in the 67 Audi, and has an absolutely amazing race. Fastest lap to a max points day for the 67. Congratulations. He will not be sad. It wasn't a factor in the Cup, but man, he won more than anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. A double winner in a 5-race championship, you're doing something right, in my opinion. And Mallet doing everything he could to keep himself in championship contention, P2, and a championship for Daniel Jorge as well. A championship for him that he had the pace in pretty much every race. I'm sure he'll be very happy with the podium. And look at that, Conway. In the background there you can see Sundstrom as well. So Conway did eventually catch up to Sundstrom, and Sundstrom is going to cross the line as to what we are pretty sure is the Night Owl Season 2 champion. He will be crowned champion today. Jesse, you are pretty sure that is the case, and I trust you with that calculation. So Mikael Sundstrom is the champion. He's finished, and Sebastian Brunier did get past the Ferrari of Kumpu to get P8, Kumpu P9, And then we got Rogers and Octane, the final battle on track as they literally just crossed the line as well. And that is the grid. So Lebrec on the day, as there's a Ferrari doing mad skids. Lebrec on the day was untouchable. I think that might be one of the biggest gaps we've seen this season, definitely. But that reminds me of the old Cody Blanton days in Season 1. That was the kind of gaps we were used to seeing there. But yeah, what a championship, and yes, a replay of that. More of that, please. But yeah, Jesse, obviously great to do this with you. And where do I put my name down for Season 3 again?
Oh, you're chained to the box, mate. I am.
Oh, good.
I am so ready for 2021 for so many reasons, and one of them is I continue to get to share the box with Josh Leishman. Absolutely fantastic season. Once again, thank you all for being here. And by the way, seeing those mad skids, they have a reason to be doing skids because they know K-Tech and Horseflow are the Season 2 RCI Night Owl team champions. And I have rechecked my math, and keep in mind this is all unofficial, but unofficially, Mikael Sundstrom, your Season 2 RCI Night Owl champion by a single point over Taha Mallet, and then 2 points behind him, Conway finishes up third in the standings, and 1 point behind him, Johan Vane, who your heart has to go out, had so much promise, had a gap, and it just wasn't to be. But congratulations, Mikael Sundstrom and the K-Tech and Horseflow team for their championships in Season 2. It's been an absolute pleasure. Once again, we would like to thank all of our partners here at RCI that keep us going. You can find the links for their stuff down in the description. On behalf of the entire team, actually, hold on 1 second. Yeah, let's see. I apologize, but we may have an interview here. All right.
Got a couple questions about the RSI endurance thing going on.
All right, that was not the interview we thought we were going to do. But anyway, like I said, thank you all for your support this season. And we will see you in 2021 for Season 3 of the Night Owl Championship, which will bring new corks. Please join us next weekend for the 9-hour endurance race that we will be bringing you. Information for that as well in the description. On behalf of Nick Setnick behind the cameras and Josh Leishman in the booth, I'm Jesse Lee, and this has been a presentation of RCI TV. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.